You were pointing to the New York on your jersey in the final seconds. Now that you're 24 games into the season, how much has coming home?
Yes, sir, brother.
How much has coming home and playing at home and leading the way for the Knicks along with your teammates meant to you?
I mean, we them boys. I point to that jersey because we put the work in. I know that we're doing everything possible to give ourselves a chance to win every night and put on for the city. So I'm just real happy. I ain't gonna lie. I'm happy to win here. I haven't won here in a long ass time. So I'm just happy to put one on the left column here.
Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Karl Anthony Clown, right? I just don't get it, guys. We're going to talk about Karl Anthony Towns, guys like Anthony Edwards, and even LeBron James is in this discussion as being unprofessional. I just don't understand it, man. I'm trying to understand it, but I can't. I just can't understand it. And after I seen this video of this, I mean, the guy had an interview for 30 seconds. Basically, after I think they beat the Toronto Raptors or something like that. And the guy, to me, he just, I don't know what's wrong with these guys, man. I'm not trying to tell you that they can't act like this. At work, I do not act the same as I do out of work. I'm a different person. I don't think about work. Some people say, man, you've been doing the same thing, man, 22 years, man. In the same, line of work, you must dream about this stuff. And I said, as soon as I leave work and punch out, ain't nothing I think about this job. I forget if I have like sometimes you have a 4 days off during the holidays if it lands right or whatever like that. I forget I even work at the place or even doing that line of work. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, when I made a comment on YouTube about the way this guy talked, oh man, they lost it. They lost it because it just isn't people that seen this that was on my channel. And I said something to the effect, the way these athletes talk today is very unprofessional. Yes, players in the past spoke differently off camera, especially with their buddies, but never spoke that way on camera. Because as a professional, you show professionalism in public. People will take what I'm saying the wrong way. Because also, what is it? Oh man, I lost where I was. I'm saying the wrong, God, I can't even, YouTube is all messed up, man. The thing keeps jumping. Let me find it. The thing done exited out on me. Let me see. I'll find it in a minute. But basically what I was saying was what I just said a second ago. We act a certain way when we're in a public setting or when we're at work. It's just different. It don't matter if you're white, you're black, you're Spanish, you're Asian. And to me, this guy's at work. He's at work, guys. And Michael Jordan basically talked like a professional in front of the camera. Or when he was doing certain things. But in the public eye, you had to be professional. It just ain't about sports players is what I'm trying to say. We all go through it unless you've never been in a professional setting. And I think everybody has. If you work at McDonald's and you're sitting there at the cash register, you got to act a certain way in public. Yes, it might not be the highest quality job of a profession or anything like that, but still, you know what I mean. So basically, when I said this, I'm talking about, man, it was right away, instantly. These guys came at me fast. They came at me fast. And the thing about it is, they act like they never saw anybody act in a professional way when you're supposed to, or in public. I don't know how old these people were, but they sounded like they were 12 years old and were trying to bite my head off. How dare I say this? I'm the reason why the NBA is like it is. People get suspended for speaking their minds, and no, man. It just ain't about Michael Jordan. Shaquille O'Neal was top professional in an after game. Penny Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, all these guys. And you might say, what did he say so bad? Well, what I'm trying to say is, he didn't say nothing really to offend nobody and nothing that was so bad. But you guys got to think, man. These guys are getting paid tens of millions of dollars, supposedly. And we can see why the fans are walking away from this crap. Because these guys, they're not from the streets. They're not tough. The majority of them didn't grow up rough or in the hood or without. But instead, most of these guys grew up middle class, AAU boys, and never had it hard in their life. And now they want to be these Ja Morants. They want to be these tough guys. I mean, this is the facade these guys want to put on. I'm serious. Because they feel like they missed out on something. I'm telling you, they hear this music and they feel like they missed, or the rap music, all this stuff. They feel like they missed out on something, right? Being poor, being from the hood, growing up rough, being around thugs and killers and gangs, and they missed out on it. And they think they're obligated to act this way because they're black. It's ridiculous. Growing up poor, growing up in the projects, all this stuff, you didn't miss out on nothing, homie. My Christmas was Salvation Army and Goodwill. Trust me, you didn't miss out on nothing. I was one night from being locked up in prison for the rest of my life. Like the people I was hanging around with, if I would have been there that night. You didn't miss out on nothing. I just get sick of it, man, because these guys don't work hard. They don't play hard. And they act like they're tough. And they get up and they do interviews and they're cussing. Well, what are you cussing for? We them boys. You them boys? What do you mean? Could you imagine Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson or this dude's in the past, Kobe Bryant, saying, yeah, we them boys? What boys? What boys are you? Do you have the number one? Do you have the best record in the NBA? How many championships did you win? What did you do? You them boys? What boys? These are the same guys that have all this confidence from achieving nothing. If I ain't mistaken, Karl Anthony Towns has like a couple of like third All-NBAs and 4 All-Stars, no statistical titles, no defense. Could you imagine? This dude has no defensive teams. This dude is 7 foot. Let's take it a little further. This guy has been in the league 10 years. 10 years. No MVPs. Hasn't made the finals. Hasn't been top 5 in MVP. Yes, I know it's some rumbling this year about him, maybe in the MVP race. But this is the beginning of the year. Come back to me when the season's about to end. But besides this year, he's never been in no MVP race. Never been no true leader of a team. I'm not asking for these guys to act different as far as their personalities. Even though to me they're fake. They're wannabes. But if that's the way you want to act, that's fine. All I'm saying is you can't take 30 seconds out of your life when you're on the camera and talk like a professional. Instead of trying to act like you somebody you ain't. You trying to act like somebody you're not. You do that in your everyday life and you can't take 30 seconds out to speak professionally. It don't make no sense to me. Anthony Edwards too, and most of these dudes, most of these young American players, I don't see SGA talking like that, man. I don't see, what's his name, De'Aaron Fox, I don't see him talking like that, man. But what's wrong with these dudes? And, they were all over me. Oh, Michael Jordan, all the time he talked professional. Look, man, I don't know what time you're talking about, because Michael Jordan came into the league speaking highly intelligent in just about all interviews. And no, he wasn't from the streets, and no, he wasn't raised in a bad community. Yes, he grew up upper middle class, but he didn't go around trying to act like something he wasn't. Especially when he got famous. These dudes ain't in this game. They're not in the NBA. And you can tell. If you can't act professional for 30 seconds on the damn camera, then how can you even lead a team? How would anybody ever on that team take you serious? Well, you can't be serious for 30 seconds on camera. I mean, these dudes don't care about winning championships, man. They just want to go out and ball. Can Karl Anthony Towns ball? Yeah, he can ball. Does he got a lot some deficiencies? Yeah, he's got some deficiencies. I'm just sick of seeing all these star players that has never made a defensive team. And to me, 10 years in the league, and this guy really has done nothing. Done nothing. And getting these big contracts for what? For what? Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see if I can pull his resume up real quick. They say he won gold. What was that? In like 2012 or something like that? Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, see, he won gold in 2012 with Puerto Rico. Oh, that ain't the Olympics. That's something else. Man, he was pretty young back then, I guess. He wasn't even in college yet. I don't think so. Yeah, so that's what it is. 4-time All-Star. Remember, he's been in the league 10 years. Only been an All-Star 4 times. 2-time All-NBA, third team. That's it, folks. No more All-NBAs. Rookie of the year. Yes, this guy has some expectations. And to me, that really hasn't filled him if you were the Rookie of the Year. 3-point contest winner. And that's it, folks. That's it. That's it. Hell, he did more. He was more touted in college than he was. Well, did more in college than he did in the NBA almost. I think he only played 1 year in college. Maybe 2 years. But I don't care about these goons trying to get at me, man. By the time now, this is what they expect. I'm serious. This is what these young people expect. And then they call me old head this. Look, Michael Jordan's old enough to be my father. So you can call me old head all you want. The people that the guys that were the same age as me that eventually played in the NBA were the early 2000s guys. Right? Kobe, maybe Allen Iverson, these guys like that. Those are the guys around my age. Michael Jordan ain't nowhere around my age. He's around my father's age. But what I'm trying to say is these guys talk professionally. With Karl Malone, Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Why not, though? I don't understand. You're a professional. You're in a professional setting. Why not? Why are you cussing? Why? There's kids watching this, and you can't act this ain't even got nothing to do with the whole kid thing. Kids watching you, but him saying, we them boys, when he's the guy is asking you about having a good game and all this stuff, and you just won, you talking about we them boys. But how, though? If they was first in the East, they already had locked stuff down. Maybe he had been there for a few years, and they had been to the finals. Just give me some kind of record to prove you them boys. You them boys. But this is the arrogance of these guys. This is the way they talk. If you say that's fine, go ahead. Whatever. But this guy has nothing to prove. He can't prove nothing he's saying. Anthony Edwards, when he got benched in the Olympics for the turnover king, what did he say? What did he say? He said, oh man, they better watch out for me. They better watch out for me. That's what he said. When the smoke cleared and the Olympics was over, guys, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Anthony Edwards ain't have nothing to show us for that. They're going to have to watch out for me. Nothing, bro. But looking like a damn fool. The Karl Anthony Towns trade. Okay, what does Anthony Edwards have to show for that? Nothing this season. Where's his leadership? How's he leading a team? Outside of shooting good from three, he's shooting horribly from the field. His steals ain't up. His free throw shooting ain't looking that good. He drives to the basket, and what happens? He can't finish these. He can't finish over these soft, weak defenders because he ain't got the double clutch, the double pump, gene like Kobe, like Michael Jordan, like some of these guys that he says he's better than, that he says he's all this nonsense. That's what it is, folks. It's a bunch of nonsense. He can't lead a team. Karl Anthony left him, said, go ahead and lead this team. Since you're the next Michael Jordan, let me get the hell out of here. Let me get out of here. And he got the hell out of there. And Anthony Edwards ain't doing nothing. These guys run their mouth with nothing to show for it. You got Joker dominating this league. He can barely jump off the ground. And putting up all these crazy stats. And Anthony Edwards is doing what? Can't even put up 30 points per game? Where's this Michael? I haven't heard none of this Michael Jordan comparison this year. None. Because in this year right here, when we're talking, well, age, they don't want to go by year. They don't want to go by year. Because they're going to look like fools. Well, they did in that first. Even though it don't matter. You know, Anthony Edwards should have came in the 2020s dominating that soft week era. You guys are, oh man, well, you got to understand that, what is you talking about, man? What is you talking about? Who's stopping these guys from performing and doing all this stuff that, you guys screaming about their age and all this stuff? And then on the other hand, you skip right to Michael Jordan. LeBron was putting up 27, 7, and 7 his second season, basically. Until now, what's the problem? And that was a tougher era. Right? So by now, the guys are more skilled. Anthony Edwards should be putting up no less than 30 points per game, grabbing 36 and 6. 36 and 6. Yep, that Michael Jordan thing just fell off the map. Because they know by the time this year, Michael Jordan was putting up like, 35? .4 blocks, like 2.9 steals. It was something crazy, man. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, coming off a broken foot. I mean, these guys are fools, man. And yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, I never said the man couldn't ball. I didn't say he couldn't play, whatever like that. But I'm just sick of hearing these guys doing these post game interviews, and they just can't act professional for 30 damn seconds. And if you say, oh, man, that ain't, how's that so this is how he act with his homies. Act professional. If you want me to do a compilation, if you think I'm going overboard, I can put together something of him in many different interviews. Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, all these fools. They act like children. They don't act like professional, man. They act like children. So that's all I'm going to say about this. But I want to talk about the whole, they're talking about LeBron being traded again. Oh, my God. I mean, who cares, guys? Who cares? He's always nice sitting out. I don't think the Lakers play for like 4 or 5 days or something like that. But yeah, who really cares, man? Who wants this guy? If you get him, it's not to win. So if you want him, it's just for a clown show. Just to say LeBron was in a damn Portland jersey, or LeBron was in I don't know. Well, he ain't going to New York. I don't know, man. Nobody wants him. If you want to win, you don't want this guy. You can't win with the Lakers. The Lakers don't have a bad team, folks. It's not a bad team. And they talked about how Rich Paul, it won't happen this year the way it happened last year when LeBron, he said he was ready to go, but Rich Paul blocked the trade. Folks, at some point, I mean, if you're a child and you got a childlike mind, that's fine. You can believe such nonsense. But if you're an adult and you're able to think with a couple brain cells that work, then why would you accept the fact that the media would come out and say that Rich Paul blocked a trade of LeBron going to Golden State to play with Steph Curry? Do you really believe anything that stupid? LeBron James does what he wants to do. Ain't no damn Rich Paul about to stop LeBron James from going where he wants to go, how much he wants to get paid, when he don't want to work, everything. All the media stories that get put out, LeBron James is right there, and that's whatever he says, that's what's going to be done. I mean, y'all gotta, you can't, come on, you can't be that stupid. And people is actually bringing this story like it's true. Like they bring you the story that Rich Paul, that was selling jerseys out the back of his trunk, basically had no job, right? Was selling jerseys out the back of his trunk is where LeBron met him at an airport before a flight, and LeBron saw him, and LeBron ran up on him, and they start talking about a jersey that LeBron James liked, and that's when they exchanged numbers. Folks, you can't really be this stupid, can you? Tell me you're not this stupid. Later on, they would talk again. Rich Paul would get in LeBron's inner circle, a stranger. We're trying to figure out, first of all, how a dude this rich, I don't know if it was before he came to the NBA or he was already in the NBA, I think, but he was already famous. I think it was something like, I think he already had got drafted or some crazy ass story. But LeBron James is gonna stop for you. You're gonna get a stranger off the damn streets is gonna get in LeBron's inner circle. Have you ever seen this guy? And look, I'm not trying to criticize people because the way they look, but seriously. I'm not trying to say he looks like a bad guy or ugly guy or nothing like that, but it just don't seem. Let me move on, man, from that, because I don't want people to start saying this and that and this. But a stranger, folks. LeBron calls back. What the hell is he gonna call him back for? This guy's rich or about to become rich, and you call a homeless guy back over, I don't know, how are you getting these jerseys? What are they called? Classic, authentic jerseys. Who knows where these guys get these jerseys from? If they're even real, if they're knockoffs, whatever. But out of all things, you call this guy back for what reason, really? And then a stranger, comes into your inner circle, and then eventually becomes a billionaire off of starting up one of the biggest sports agencies in the world. They didn't tell you this guy went to any college before that to learn about business, to be a sports agent, anything. And where the hell did this guy get this money from? And what trust would you have in this guy to be with his company? Folks, come on. Y'all gotta stop, man. The company might be in this guy's name, but LeBron put up the money, put up the everything. And somehow it's still in LeBron James' name. I don't know where it is, down maybe one of his family members' name. But this is LeBron James' company, folks. The story is hogwash, what they're trying to say, man. We can't, adults can't act like children all their lives. At a certain point, we tell our kids to grow up. We say that Michael Jackson tried to change himself white. Okay. Then why did he show up Chinese? And why was he sounding Chinese? After 4 years, he shows up and makes the Beat It album, and he's Chinese now. He's shorter. He's got Chinese eyes. He looks Chinese. And he basically is singing with a Chinese accent. But the dummies keep telling you, in his first tour of the Bad album was where? In Japan. He said his mother was Chinese. Not all the way Chinese, but he said his mother was mixed with Chinese. And he said when he went back to China, in Japan, he felt like he was at home. And he wore Chinese garb. He hung around Chinese people personally. And everything. But we'll leave that alone. I was just saying, folks, at some point, adults have to grow up. We got to grow up. Nobody cares about LeBron James. If this is how we care about LeBron James, his career is over. You know what happened in 96, 97, and 98 after Michael Jordan won the championship? They basically was begging him to come back and play one more season because the rumblings was they were all on 1 year contracts. In the manager and the owner didn't get along with Phil Jackson, didn't get along with Scottie Pippen, didn't get along with Rodman. And after they won the NBA Finals, and in the post game, they kept asking Michael Jordan, "Are you coming back? Are you coming back?" And he said, "We'll see. I want to come back, but I want to be with Phil. I want to be with Pippen, stuff like that." This ain't the same for LeBron James. Nobody never asked if this guy wanted to come back. No, everybody wants him to leave because his headlines isn't of greatness, winning statistical titles, winning championships, leading teams to championships. No, LeBron never led a team to a championship. He's always been with other number ones, right? He's always been with other number ones. So he was just another number one that was part of the other number ones that led a team to a championship. A lot of guys don't understand that. When you're playing with other teams' number one franchise players, you're just another number one. Now, if you was playing with a dude that was past his prime, okay, I can understand that. Like Dwayne Wade. I mean, that guy got the ultimate respect. He played with Shaq. Y'all gotta remember, Shaq came in like 92. They won that championship in 2006. Shaq was past 10 years past his prime. Way past 10 years. I'm saying he was old, but we can see in the last, 2004 when he was in LA? Oof, he was out of shape, man. Lonzo Mourning was a shell. Gary Payton, shell. So when you see Wade, you say, well, Wade, he played with other teams' number ones. Man, these dudes was really shells in himself, man. If you put those guys in their prime together, I don't know, maybe you put Lonzo Mourning at power forward, Shaq at center, and you got Gary Payton out there, man, you might win about 5 championships. But they won 1 championship in like 4 years together and only went to 1 finals. You see the difference between LeBron playing with, going to the championship game 4 straight times with Wade, Bosh, Love, and Kyrie? Well, 8. That's what happens when you're in your prime. That's what happens. And you're a number one. When you're out of your prime and you're a number one playing with other number ones like Clyde Drexler and who was it, Charles Barkley and Hakeem? Nothing, folks. What about Scottie Pippen, Barkley, and Hakeem? Nothing, folks. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. So, I just wish this guy would retire. I mean, people say, "Oh man, you ain't gonna have nothing else to talk about." Yeah, but they make us talk about this guy. We done ran through this guy so hard in his career, his shortcomings, his downfalls. I mean, he should be ashamed to even keep playing, to even shoot a ball, to even have his name as like a top 10 player. You guys say in the greatest skilled era of all time, but this guy really ain't got no skills. Can't shoot the three, can't shoot the two, or the mid-range, can't shoot free throws, ain't got no bag. Build super teams, board leadership. So what are you guys talking about? I'm trying to find out. So we just want this guy's career really to end, man. And look, the truth of the matter is, the media don't want his career to end because they don't want to talk about nobody else. But the media, they're a low budget media. ESPN, Fox, and all these guys. And when I say low budget, it's because these guys have to lie now to sell the NBA. You got color analysts, they lie just to sell the NBA. First it was with LeBron James. Now you hear with other guys, and talking about how skilled these guys are now. Look at that pass, we never seen nothing like that. All this stuff while they're calling the game, instead of educating and just concentrating on this era and stuff like that. It's a whole different setting when you listen to an NFL game. They don't disrespect past players. They don't compare eras. They just focus on the game at hand. Yes, if you're a great player, they will give you props and stuff like that. But they're not comparing you to somebody else to cut somebody else down to make some kind of GOAT debate or something like that. It's ridiculous. And the lying is so, that's even worse. You got a job lying? I just don't know, man. Football is getting there, man. I can't even watch some of these pregame shows. My favorite was NFL Countdown. Oh my God, I lost it. When they replaced Chris Berman with this blonde head chick, this skinny, and I'm not trying to bang on her because she's skinny, but I'm just saying, they replaced Chris Berman. This is Chris Berman, guys. This is the ultimate great, the greatest host of all time. The greatest of all time. And this is what you replace Chris Berman with. I got nauseous, guys. I couldn't believe it. You could have gave me anybody else, and you can't do it with a woman. I'm sorry. You can't do it with a woman, period. No other network is letting a woman run NFL Countdown. Is she still there? I don't know. I'm not watching it no more. And I never got into it. You replaced Chris Berman with this chick. Never liked Randy Moss. I don't like him. I don't like him. He tries to be a knockoff Charles Barkley, kind of like he's another John Morant too. He don't remind me of anybody that grew up poor or in the hood or anything like. I'm serious. He don't. He ain't funny. I'm being serious. Randy Moss is not funny. And he at times he try to act like he's stupid funny, but he's not. He's not. He's not. The best countdown they had when they had Mike Dicker there, Chris Carter, Keyshawn Johnson, Michael Irvin, somebody else too. Y'all gotta help me. Who else was on that panel? I know Randy Moss came, but he came later. Somebody else was on that panel. It was Keyshawn Johnson. It was Chris Carter. It was goodness gracious, who else was that? I just said most of the names. I just can't even. That to me, that was the best countdown or the best morning show they had. Even the one now that they have on what is that? I think it's CBS. Just about all those guys are gone now. I think but like Bill Coward. I think is that his name? I think he's still on there. But now they got a whole bunch of new dudes, and they're okay, but no, they're not good as the other guys. Boomer Esiason was on there. Then you had Jimmy Johnson. Those guys like that. That was pretty. Shannon Sharp was on there. That show was pretty good too. But my show was in Countdown. And then you had the nightcap that came on later on, right before the 8 o'clock game came. So, ESPN done fell off, man. They don't want to pay good talent, good analysts, good help no more. They don't want to do it, man. They don't want to do it. They got these whatever you call them. I don't know. Second-rate analysts. Cheap labor. That's what I call them. It's just cheap labor. That's all you got right there. They're just good enough to be on there. But they're not great. They're not good. And that's all you have. And then the ones that are good, all they do is lie. And you got guys that's older than me that's lying about the history of sports. This is crazy. I'm not trying to say you have to come to the same agreement. You got to like the same players or you got to have the same goal. No, nothing like that. But when you sit up there and blatantly lie and you're on a sports network, that's what's so crazy. You're on a sports network, so you're supposed to know the history about the damn sport you're talking about. But it's so bad now. The product is, the leagues are, that now you have to lie just to sell the league. That's crazy. Folks, why we're so mad, we never heard none of this stuff when we was growing up. They didn't have to lie or compare or debate sports back in the day. It was what it was for that era. And what it was great. It was just greatness that was being carried on in that decade. That was carried on from the past decade. Every decade was like that. They wasn't there to cut these guys down and compare and all this stuff. Because it was always great. Music was always great. Don't matter what era it was. You might not say, man, I don't listen to blues, man. I like R&B better. My mama listened to a lot of blues. But it was still great. Movies was always great. Sitcoms was always great. No matter what era it was in. Until basically we got to the 2010s and everything started going down. And I'll tell you, that coincides with the whole LeBron era, the 2010s. Everything started going down. The level of everything. The level of greatness in everything. Sports, movies, sitcoms, music, whatever it is. But yeah, they have to lie. And it's ridiculous, man. And we don't have to lie. We've seen it. This ain't something that, I'm like, yeah, this ain't no good because it ain't my era. I'm like, no. Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, we seen tough guys. We grew up around tough guys. We lived this life. We know fake tough guys like Ja Morant. These dudes, these rappers today, these is fake tough guys. These dudes walk around singing rap music. Really? Do that back in the 80s and 90s. Or in the early 2000s. You're going to get punched in the face. Nobody ain't going to take you serious as a tough guy. These dudes still doing what Drake taught them in the 2010s. How to sing, rap, and be tough guys. Really? Listen, man. It ain't no generation thing. It ain't nothing like that. But when I was in the 90s, I can detail year from year what was going on. Or in the 80s. Who won a Super Bowl? Who was the top singers in that year? Who was the who won what championship, whether it was in the NBA, NFL, MLB, year by year. What sitcom was that year? What great movies was that year? What what pop culture was going on in that year? From the 80s to the 90s to the early 2000s. And ain't nothing going on now. Ain't no greatness going on in the 2010s or the 2020s. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just sick of fakeness. Why don't these dudes grab their nuts and go to work and be men and battle and be professionals? Man, they more skilled, man. Yeah, I guess they are when nobody's playing defense on them. Would you hit the lottery if somebody told you the winning numbers? Man, that dude, like, you know, he Einstein, man. He can read the future, man. He keep hitting them numbers, man. He can tell the future, man. What is these people talking about, man? We need to start a petition for LeBron to retire, for real. A petition needs to be signed so that, because the way the NBA acts is like LeBron, basically. Childlike.